Hello, my name is Paris Cheney, and today I'll be talking about acid rain and the effects that it has on tropical soil and farming. And before I start, I wanted to just kind of do a little preface in saying I'm trying to do a video similar to what we watch in class with David Attenborough. So I have a British accent, and it's kind of hard to do because I'm not going through animals, but I'm going to try, so bear with me. Hopefully, it's a little bit more fun than looking at slide decks. Let's begin by asking the question, what is acid rain? Acid rain results when sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are emitted into the atmosphere. Once they are in the atmosphere, the polyatomic ions react with other chemicals in the atmosphere to create sulfuric acid and nitric acid. These compounds come from fossil fuels emitted into the air through manufacturing companies, machinery, and vehicle usage. Once the emissions are transformed into particles, they then travel back to Earth through wet or dry depositions. Wet deposition is through precipitation. Dry deposition occurs through a lack of moisture, and the particles and gas return to the Earth by attaching to various surfaces. Here is a diagram to show you how it all works. On Earth, the acid rain reacts with the soil. The farming industry in tropical areas has seen significant impacts from the acid rain through the decrease of the soil's biomass, the chlorophyll of the plants, and the chemistry of the soil. This causes great devastation to agriculture in tropical environments. Tropical soil is very delicate and needs to have a very specific pH level to be successful for growing crops. If the soil isn't at precise state, then the crops won't be able to get the nutrients they need. When acid rain falls, it absorbs and reacts with the soil. The acidity of the water absorbs and takes away oxygen and other nutrients, which disturbs the precise composition of the soil. When specific vital nutrients are emitted from the biomass of the soil, it decreases and impacts the crop's growth. Looking further into how acid rain has an effect on the plant's biomass, throughout many studies there has been a direct correlation between the soil's biomass and the respiration of the plant. Plants breathe by taking in a specific amount of oxygen through the roots in the soil. Depending on how much oxygen a plant can take in from the soil will determine the success of the plant. When acid rain falls, it impacts the soil and the respiration of the roots. Therefore, the plants cannot receive the correct amount of nutrients they need, and the biomass is negatively affected. Over time, acid rain has decreased the nutrients needed for plant production, which has caused farming in tropical areas to not get a good enough harvest each year. Acid rain also affects the chlorophyll of the tropical crops. The significance of chlorophyll is it is vital for photosynthesis and how the plant creates nutrients for itself. Chlorophyll allows light to be converted into energy, which creates nutrients for the specimen to grow. Acid rain negatively impacts the quality of chlorophyll, which then causes the crop not to develop well. It has been tested through various tropical crops that the number of chlorophyll through time has been impacted. The number of chlorophyll is directly affected by the soil's pH level. As before stated, the tropical soil and crops are very delicate and need a very specific pH level to be successful for growing. The pH level coincides with the specific chemistry that is needed for crops to grow and be successful. There were different pH levels that were tested to see where the specific acidity level was too much for the tropical plants. In conclusion, there were variations in the specific numbers due to the various plants used. However, all of the studies showed a significant impact around a pH level of 3 to 3.5. It was also seen that the pH level was directly affected by the amount of sulfur and carbon. Normal rain naturally has a small amount of acidity to it because of the carbon dioxide it takes in before it falls. However, acid rain has a large amount of sulfur and carbon. Therefore, when the particles reach the surface, they are absorbed by the soil and affect the chemistry of it, and ultimately the pH level. A problem with acid rain is it didn't become a serious issue until the 1960s and 70s, when people began to become more aware of the effects pollution had on the environment. However, the most significant change that will be seen is through the decrease of acidity in rain. The only way to decrease the amount of acid in rain is through the decline of fossil fuel emission. The less fossil fuels that are used and absorbed into the air, the lower impact the particle formed will have on the Earth's surface. Maintaining a well-sustained planet is key to the success of humans.